Hey guys, how's it going? This is my, I'm guessing 1965. It doesn't have a plate on it to tell you the serial tag. It's gone. This is, I'm guessing, a 1975 Cub Cadet 102. 1965, not 75. Traded off my 1980 317 for this one a little while ago. I did have a video filmed on this tractor, but I was trying to get some space cleared up on my phone, and I was working on putting together a best of video for 2023, a couple of them. And in my excitement to get those videos done and get what I didn't need off of my phone and off of my computer, I ended up wiping the footage from this tractor. And well, I don't have the first half of the video. I don't have the first video anymore. I still have the second video. I had thought I had already moved it from the phone over to the computer, but apparently it was still on the phone. I had never moved it to the computer. So yeah, that was my bad. However, luckily I still have this second video, so we can get back into it where I left off. But for you guys, it is a new project. So we've been having a running issue with this little guy. Off camera, well, not off camera, it was on camera, but it's off camera, I guess, was having a governor problem. I had to play with the governor and adjust it in order to get it to work right. It has a fuel problem. It has some kind of problem with it I'm thinking it's either the ignition system or the carb or the fuel system. At this point, it has to be the ignition system because I've been through that fuel system and I cannot figure out what the problem is with it. It runs great, but the problem with it is you run it at full throttle for a while or anywhere past quarter throttle. I've had this problem before on a 140, but it was because there was a bunch of shit getting stuck behind the needle or behind the seat. It was that 140 right there. And stuff was pulling up behind the needle and seat, not able to get through, clogging up the fuel supply, causing it to run out of gas and die. And then you'd go to start the tractor back up and it would start up just fine, which is what this one's doing. But the problem with this one is it's not plugging up. I've gone through it and checked it. It's still getting fuel. It's not a fuel problem that I can figure out, so I'm thinking it's a carb or an ignition problem, but I'm not sure exactly where to go with that. I've adjusted the valves on it. The valves are in adjustment. They're where they need to be. But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of what the problem with it is. So in today's video, I'm not going to say anything because I know what happens. You guys don't. You'll find out, though. So I guess let's go on ahead and let's dive into the video now since you guys are in the loop of everything that has gone on with this tractor. And yeah, maybe in the future my dumbass won't go deleting videos that I don't know are on YouTube or not. So yeah, there we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Previously on the channel, we were working on this Cub Cadet 102. This is the Cub Cadet 102 I traded my John Deere 317 for. I sold that tractor to a kid. He came and he bought it off of me, or he traded this with me. I wish I could say a year, but I have no idea what year this tractor is. And of course, where the tag is supposed to be that shows you the year, there is no tag. So I'm not sure what year this tractor is. I want to guess 65 because that's when they said these were made, was 65 through 67. Not completely sure on a year, but I'm guessing 65 if I had to guess. However, if anybody else out there maybe knows more about this tractor than I do, I would really appreciate it. Some information on it, maybe where the tag actually is if I'm looking in the wrong spot. Previously on the channel, we were working on it. We had a governor problem. We got the governor problem fixed. I still have no idea how we got the governor problem fixed, but we did. We were having a fuel delivery issue where it was acting like it was starving for fuel. The engine would run, and it would run pretty good, But if you'd run it past a certain throttle position, I believe it was quarter throttle, you wouldn't be able to run it for more than a minute, and then it would start to act like it was dying for fuel. But when you go to choke the engine, it wouldn't change at all. And I think that was where we left off. So I messed with it some off camera. Some things I did in the last video, we replaced the ignition system thinking maybe that was the problem. We changed out the carb thinking maybe that was the problem. Well, it was the problem. The one carb that was on there was the problem, but this new carb that I put on there off my other engine didn't fix it. Off camera, I did some experimenting. I went through the entire fuel system. I went through the carb. I didn't go through the ignition system again. It still got the same system on there. I played with it, changed out the fuel line, tried it without the fuel filter. I have not gotten a change in anything. So I'm starting to wonder about a few things. I want to pull the cylinder head off. I'm thinking at this point it's got something to do with the engine. I was asking a friend of mine what he thought, and he brought up maybe it's timed wrong, which I kind of doubt that, because it runs, and usually if an engine was timed wrong, I wouldn't think it would run as well as this one does. It really, to me, just seems like it's starving for fuel, but I haven't been able to figure out yet why. And I've gone through the whole fuel system and everything, and I have not gotten it to change. Another thing I did is I took measurements from the intake of a 10-horse Kohler and the intake of a 14-horse Kohler, because I was starting to wonder if this engine was actually a 14-horse or something else of the measurement. This is the intake diameter of a 14-horse. This is the intake diameter of a 10-horse, you can see. And I measured it on this engine right here. I had another 10-horse upstairs I measured it on. And I have this 14-horse sitting over here that I measured it on also. You can see this is about the size of the one on that engine. So that one measured about the exact same size as that 14-horse, and it was a little bit bigger than the one on the 10-horse, which I thought was interesting. So I threw a 14-horse carb on there, and I had no change. I took the one off of that 140 over there, and it had no change. So, and I know that carb ran just fine on that engine because I tilled my garden with it, and it ran good. So I'm starting to wonder if we have us a timing issue or maybe something else, because at this point, I don't know. So I want to pull the cylinder head off, and I want to see if maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with that. Possibly one of the valves might be getting stuck open. And also, I was told this engine was gone through and rebuilt. I want to see what all was done to it. So that's what we're going to do. And also, I want to see why it's smoking. Maybe we just need to clean out the cylinder or clean up the top of the piston and it'll quit smoking. Because I've noticed it hasn't been burning oil. It just looks like it's been leaking it out. So there you go. I think it's just been leaking from where we already fixed it before, and that's about it. So let's go on ahead and get into it. Let's see what we find. So here I was thinking that this was going to be some easy thing to get running again, you know, because it started up nice. And now we're into it. A whole nother video still trying to figure out the exact same problem that we were having before. I think that's kind of funny. So, oh well. So the fuel tank should be empty. It's got a little bit of gas in it. It's not much though. It shouldn't be too much. Let's just unhook that. That's where I was putting it, but that's not going to work. I'll just stick it right there. I don't want to drain that everywhere. Let me see if I can find somewhere I can put this where it's not going to get ignited. There we go. That works. Let me take this over to the bench, and then we'll grab a socket and get that pulled. So I'm thinking I want to run around it real quick and just see if we have us a loose bolt. That could possibly be the problem. Maybe it's expanding that bolt, maybe it's expanding, and as the head expands, because it's getting hot, it's opening up a gap and it's letting all my compression out. But as it's dying, it still sounds like it has compression. That came loose easy. Okay. Three of them. That one took a little bit of effort. Four of them. Or five. Six. That one took no effort. Okay, that one took some effort. That was a good one. Seven. Okay, that one came loose easy. There's 9 head bolts here. I don't know why I just said 7. Okay, so already I am willing to bet right now I just figured out what the problem with this was. Loose, 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 loose. Well, kind of tight. Was that one tight? One of them was. I feel like it was that one. Loose. Definitely loose. Yeah. So I think we just figured out what the problem was. I was starting to wonder about that. I knew it wasn't a fuel issue. Or I thought it was a fuel issue, but apparently it may have been a little more than I thought. So let's just pop these guys off. Maybe we'll get it fixed today, hopefully, because this thing is really starting to piss me off. Starting to think I don't know what the hell I'm doing, which is true, but I don't know. Shit. Let's see about that. There we go. So both shrouds should be loose and both shrouds should now come off. Oh, we gotta take those out. Get those out next. That's loose. That's loose. That needs to come off. Yeah, those are being held on by those. So I gotta take the head bolts out anyway in order to get them. All right, what the hell? Come on. That's a 7. Not a 8. Where's a 7? Do I not have a 7 over here? What do y'all think? Do y'all think that was the problem? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, that wasn't the problem and it was something else. But I don't know. Now I'm curious. And I'm really wondering about that. If it was because all the head bolts were loose, why were they all loose? You know what I wonder? You're supposed to retorque your head bolts after you run an engine. I'll bet you he did say this engine was apart. I do believe him. Not sure if, well, I do believe him that it was apart. After some of the things that I've seen, I'm starting to wonder if maybe he just put the head on loose, either forgot to tighten it down or torqued it. You're supposed to tighten it, retorque it after you run the engine, I think. Maybe he didn't retorque the head bolts after he was done with it. That's another thing I'm thinking, maybe. So, I don't know. Yeah, those were all loose. Maybe we missed one. Another thing I'm surprised about is this doesn't have any thread sticking out of it or any studs. Okay. Because on my 105, that was loose. These were studs. Interesting. Those some pretty decent sized bolts. Why are those so thick? I have never seen head bolts that thick on one of these engines. Unless this has a thicker head, it might. Those are long. Wow. Cut that off. No, that head looks about the same size as all the other heads I've seen. Yeah, same exact. Oh yeah, you can see where it has been leaking. It has been leaking out the head gasket. Well, maybe we just figured it out. Let's open door number 2, or door number whatever. Well, they don't look terrible. It does look like it has been leaking. It's definitely, it's got some oil in it, yeah. What's the best way to turn it? I don't really want to crank it over, but there we go. How's the head gasket look? It looks all right. I don't see an issue with it. Right there. That might just be dirt. Head might have been loose. I mean, that, not really anywhere good to grab on that at all. I wish there was. Instead of having to. Yeah, I have no idea. Let's just put it in gear. We'll crank it over with it being in gear. That should be in high gear. There we go. Now go forwards. There we go. That piston. It's got a small bit of play in it. Okay, let's take a peek. I see no markings. No markings at all. Let me grab a wire wheel and we'll clean that head up. What do y'all think? Think it was bored out any? I don't really think so. Okay, so I see an R. What that R means, I don't know. That's all I see though is an R in that piston. So unless that means something I don't know about. That's just all scratched. I think that's from me. Yeah, I think the scratching's from me. Oops, that shouldn't hurt nothing, I don't think. There's an R stamped into it. What's with that? Valves are open. I don't see anything really wrong with it. I mean, it looks fine to me, so I don't know. The valves are both up, and it's at the top dead center or whatever. I was told by somebody who I know that works on these old K-Series engines. He told me, he goes, if the, I have it written down. If the intake valve opens first, when the piston is at the top of the stroke like it is right now, where you can see both valves are opening, which I didn't even notice that until just now. if timing is advanced, where if the exhaust valve is open more than the intake valve, it's retarded in timing, which I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like they're both open about the same distance. Let me scoot you guys out of my way so I can get a good look, because my eyes matter more than yours. Yeah, they're both open about the same, so I don't think it's timing. I don't think it's timing. It might be timing still. I'm thinking it's that head gasket. That's what I'm leaning towards. Actually thinking about, let's get this piston down into the bore. No, go back down. Stay in the bore, right there. That almost looks like, is that a crack? Hold on a minute here. Let me clean that bore out real quick. It looks like there's a hole. There may or may not be a hole in this bore. If there's a hole in that, I'd like to know what happened. It's not there no more. It's gone. All right, that's good. No, wait a minute. No, that's nothing. Huh. Okay, I think I see cross hatching in that bore. So something was done to it. Where's my light? Here's my light. I do see cross hatching, I think. No. Maybe? It's there. It's really hard to see, but it's, oh yeah, it's there. You can see it up on the top. So yeah. Somebody has been in this engine. They did do something to it. They probably just put new rings in it. There's an R in that piston, which I don't get. I don't know if that's an original piston or not. I should grab a... That is no. R, what would R be? What would an R be? Rebuilt? No. That's stupid. If anybody out there knows what the R means on that piston, I'm starting to think that's the original piston to this engine. Why it has an R in it though is beyond me. I've never seen an R before in a piston. I want to run upstairs and I want to find out what this engine is. I'm starting to think we might have ourselves a 14 horse. So I want to grab a 14 horse piston, and I know I have one, I just got to look for it. And I want to see if it'll fit in that engine. If it'll fit in that bore, then we might have ourselves a 14 horse. So this is a standard bore 14 horse piston, and I can show you a box real quick. This is a beauty. This is a beauty. Beautiful piston. Oh, it doesn't say on the box. But this is a standard bore 14 horse piston. You can see STD, that means standard bore. It's got the rings on it. This is a sharp looking piston. Let's see. Nope. It does not fit. Nope. It does not fit. So this is not a 14 horse. So my suspicion was wrong. It's not a 14 horse, which is kind of unfortunate. I was kind of hoping it was a 14 horse, but oh well. Let me take this box back upstairs, and after I get this back upstairs, so we either have a 10 or a 12. I'm thinking this is a 10 horse. So I guess I'm gonna take this box back upstairs and we'll throw the head back on it. I gotta clean the head up first. We'll throw the head back on it. We'll see exactly what it does. So one thing I want to check is I want to check the valves. I want to see how the valves are. See how easy the valves move. That one turns. Yeah, that one turns all right. No, No side to side play. Nope. Cool. Let's get the intake valve open. Intake valve moves a little easier. Ooh! That's got a little bit of play. We may have just found a problem. Maybe. I want to look into that. That might be our issue. But I don't see any problems. Where's my light again? It's got a small bit of play, but it's not really anything I would be concerned about. Just a small bit of play. I want to clean that valve up a little bit because that one, the exhaust one's fine, but the intake one I want clean, especially since that's where the air comes in for this little engine. The bore looks good, so I want to try to take care of it as best I can. Just trying to get all the shavings and shit out of here from that, because there was a little bit of remnants in there from cleaning it with the wire wheel. Oh yeah, that looks better. Cool. Yeah. Good looking engine. I'm sure y'all want to see, but unfortunately the camera won't do it justice. If I turn the flash on that camera, it won't show and arrow that great, so you'll just have to trust me on what I'm saying. Looks good though. It does look really good. Let's open up that exhaust. Okay, I just noticed this. There's a B stamped in here. R. Wait a minute. Is that a B or an R? That's an R. That's a B. What was stamped in here? What is that? I wonder if that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Shop did that? I don't know. Let me take this up front and I'll clean it up, and then once I clean this head up, we'll throw it back on the engine, throw it back together. See if we have compression, and if we have compression, we will see about maybe getting it to run and getting it to run better. So I cleaned up that cylinder head and I ran upstairs and I grabbed another head that I had. Check this out. Here is the cylinder head off of that engine. This is a 10 horse, I think. Here is the cylinder head off of another 10 horse, a K241 off a normal 10 horse. Get a look at this. First off, look where the spark plug is. Interesting. And then also take a look at this. See right there, that's where the head bolt goes. Right there is where the head bolt goes on this engine that is out of our little Cub. So that's interesting. Never seen a cylinder head like that. So that explains why we have such long bolts. I want to spin this engine over real fast. I'm just wanting to make sure everything's out of the way before I piece this thing back together and find out it's still having the exact same problem. That way I know if it's something engine related or not. So let's spin the engine over a little bit, and then after I spin the engine over a little bit, I'm going to go through all these threads and I'm going to clean them all out with a tap, and once I do that, we'll throw it back together and we'll just see what happens. I don't see any issues. I don't know if any of you do or not. I don't see any oil in there, so that's good. It's not bringing any oil up as it's spinning, which could be good or bad. It's got a lot of blow-by, though, I will point out. Wait a minute, does it? No. Okay, it's not blowing around no more. It's weird. So, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna clean all these threads. And then once I clean out all them threads, we'll go on ahead and we'll see about getting this thing running again. Let's see, we got us compression. This should not be trying to start right now, but apparently it is. That surprised me. I can't believe it actually tried to start. I just wanted to see if it had compression, that was it. So, cool. Let me get a couple other things put on here and done, and after I do that, I'll bring you back. Got it all buttoned up back together. I'd say it runs pretty good. It ain't smoking no more. Not as much though. Cool. I think that's just steam. I don't think that's smoke. It might be because it's cold. I'm gonna let that run for a little bit, and I guess we'll try starting it, or we'll throttle it up some, see what happens. I seriously doubt what I did fixed anything, but I guess we'll find out. If it runs longer than a minute, I'll be happy. Okay, so first thing that I just noticed happened, the governor arm came unhooked. So, yay. I don't know if you saw that or not. That's funny. Oops. I'll have to fix that. So, yeah, oh well. And then it also looked like it started doing what it was doing before again. So, that's kind of unfortunate, but I'm hoping it's just because that was open. Like that. So let me fix that real fast, then we'll try again. Got that arm hooked back up to the governor. Let's try again. Maybe this time it'll work good instead of trying to run away. I left that key on the entire time. It's great. Ready? Damn it. I didn't fix it. Oh well. Nope. They didn't fix our problem. That's unfortunate. So, I'm clueless at this point. I have no idea. So it's a little bit later after filming the video on this tractor. I have sat down and put some thought into what my plan is moving forward. I think the next step I want to take on this one is I want to change out that ignition system, the entire ignition system. I want to go back through and do the fuel system also. I want to pull the head back off, maybe swap that head out. I want to make sure the head's flat, and also, I don't know if there's a way to check that block, but that's kind of my plan right now. Just, I want to go through that engine, make sure everything in it's good. I adjusted the valves on it. However, I noticed on the shroud on the side of the front shroud, it said adjust the valves to, I think it was valve clearance, intake was 10 thousandths, exhaust was 20 thousandths, which I thought that was interesting because I always adjust the valves to 8 thousandths and then 18 thousandths. So I think we're going to try 10 thousandths and 20 thousandths and see if that makes us any kind of difference at all, is where I'm going to go with that one next. And I also want to solve a couple of oil leaks. I have noticed it is leaking oil in some places. I think the seal behind the crank pulley has blown out, and I also think it's got another leak somewhere else. Actually, I think it's the oil plug, which I want to change the oil out in this anyway, so that will probably be the next thing we do in the next video. So I want to go through it. I want to give it just another good looking. I'm also curious about the lettering I found on the block and the piston. I should have shown that on camera. I didn't even think about it. It never even crossed my mind. So I'm thinking about it now, and I think I should have shown that on camera. So we'll probably pull the head back off and we'll take another look at it. So there you go. All right, guys, want to thank you for watching, and I will catch all of you hopefully in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.